All right, a lot's happened this last week. In Warframe, we got the Plains of Eidolon update for the console, and currently on Xbox One. This is Dogmeat. I am back at it again with another Warframe video. Like I said before, I was going to post a video for newer players, just basically talking about forma and why you should and shouldn't do it. Cover a few things since we are talking about the Plains of Eidolon here. For new players, I know they give you access to the Plains of Eidolon, but there are some things that you should do before you head out there, just because you won't be able to enjoy it as much. You know, you won't have access to some things that are going to be beneficial to you. The main thing is you need to complete the Second Dream and War Within quests. Now, if you go to most YouTube channels and stuff, they won't reveal too much about this quest, and if they do, they usually have a spoiler alert in the front of their video, basically saying if you have not seen the quest yet or have not done it,
did you hear that?
Then to leave the video.
Cosmic background radiation is
I'm not going to talk too much about it. The only thing I'm going to say is there's certain things that require you to have those quests complete when you're doing the Plains of Eidolon. So, briefly, I wanted to cover forma. You know, should a new player do it or not? And we'll give a scenario. Let's say, for example, you have a weapon that you like a lot, right? And as you're progressing through the star chart, it does really well, but then all of a sudden, it just doesn't seem to be doing it anymore. Right here, this is like for me that you know, most of the players are able to get early access to. You could go to the market, or you could actually go to your weapons inventory. And when you come down here and you look up a lot of these weapons, sometimes they will have a price on the bottom, which is for credits. And you can buy the weapon blueprint for credits. The Boltor was one of those weapons, and it was one of my favorites in the very beginning. The Bratton was okay, it did it for me, you know, but like I said, once I got to a certain point in the star chart, and I just noticed that things weren't going as well as they were in the previous planets or the previous missions and stuff. So we're going to go up here real quick and I'll show you. And basically when you go to these planets and you look at some of these missions, you can see right there, you know, 32 to 36. So that's a little above like your Warframe or your weapons, because everything maxes out at level 30, right? So think of, you know, putting forma on a Warframe or weapon as, you know, I don't know, putting performance parts on your car. You know, like your car does well, it does its job and everything like that, but you add a few things like maybe a cold air intake or a new exhaust and all that, and it just performs that much better. So right now I am on my Chroma, and I've given this guy a lot of love because I'm going for a specific build for this guy. I'm going for his Vex armor capabilities. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. So it's beneficial for new players to basically put things on forma because, for one, once you get over here, and I know
well put together,
this is kind of, you know, when I first started this game,
cut down the...
I gotta wait for Orders to get done doing his shit. I should have muted him. So, anyways, when I first started this game and everything, I didn't understand the mods that much. I didn't understand too much of what's going on. They have this auto, you know, apply auto installation for your mods. Now, a lot of the times, you know, when you're first going through the games, it will only get you so far. If you really truly love this game and you really truly, like, you know, are into it and everything, then it's probably in your best interest to understand what the mods and the Warframes do. And I'm still understanding that, so, you know, I'm not trying to talk down to anybody or anything like that, you know. I'm just trying to give, like, new players kind of, like, a little bit of help, you know. If you're, like, one of those guys that's not really too, or gals, you know, that are not too into the social interaction and you like to game by yourself and everything, you know, that's fine. But just understanding will make you enjoy the game much better, like more, you know, to be able to get more out of it. So basically when you go to your Warframe, you hit the right trigger on Xbox, and I'm sure it's the same on PlayStation 4. On PC, I couldn't tell you, but, you know.
There's a time-limited mission alert available.
There's plenty of PC channels that can tell you. So what it will do is it will pull up your abilities, like your 4 abilities that you have. I want Chroma's Vex armor just to be able to get him through endgame stuff a little bit better, you know, because the thing is he's a fairly tanky Warframe, and the Vex armor you could see right there. When shields are hit, Chroma's armor grows stronger and stronger, and when his health takes a hit, the weapon damage increases. So I want him to be able to take some damage and dish out as much damage as possible. I will show you here. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, that number 5 there, that's how many formas I've put into this guy, and he's not done yet. So I'll use Valkyr. I know, like, this is my go-to girl, man. Like, when I strap my try-hard pants on for a sortie or something, I'm pulling out Valkyr. And it's mainly for her abilities. Because in Hysteria, you are, you know, you're basically indestructible. Anything that comes at you and everything, you could go through so much stuff. That's why if you look at Life of Real's channel, he really is not a big fan of Valkyr, because she is, you know, she's the easy button. You know, when in doubt, Hysteria out. So I got a couple builds for her. So I'm going to explain some things that I kind of learned the other day from one of my friends who's been playing this forever, and I kind of wish I knew it. So most games, like, you know, we've all played like Halo and stuff like that. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of, you know, you or anything, but, you know, I played Halo. And back in the day when you had that little blue bar and everything, that was like usually your armor and, you know, slash shields. They were the same thing. Well, in Warframe, they're different. And when you look at a Warframe here, now you see like off to the right, like over here on the left-hand side where it says capacity 60 over 60, right? And then you look at the stats below it. On the right-hand side is the base stats for like Valkyr Prime. And you can see she has a pretty high armor to start with. And then, of course, your shield capacity. So shields and armor are totally different on Warframe. Think of it this way. Shields allows you to take so many damage for mitigation, and it recharges before it starts taking away from health. Your armor is going to be your value, which is going to, you know, basically prevent that your health from deteriorating as fast when taken for enemies, you know. So I didn't know that because I was trying to mod Valkyr for shields. I'm like, why can't this chick get that much shields? And, you know, I had a friend kind of explain to me that armor and shields were different. And she starts off with high armor. And I'll go through some of the mods and everything. So I did like 2 D formas on her. Was going to go for the 3rd D. What I basically do is I basically look at a lot of channels as far as like builds. And then I try and find an amalgamation. Not unless I see some video that like just totally blows me away and has me sold on the build, that I'll stick with like, you know, one build for say like, you know, hey, this is the best build. I don't do that because, you know, the thing is about this game is you can play it any way you want. But you have to understand like your Warframe or your weapons like strength and everything, you know. So basically this is the build that I currently use here. And I'll go over like a little bit as far as when you're getting up there, some of these different mods. Now these primed flows and primed continuities, any primed mods you want to try and get your hands on. The way to do that for like newer players is, well, there's a couple ways. You could do it through trade chat if you have the plat, or you could do it through Borrow Katir, which is the Void Trader. He's the guy that will pop up on your menu if you've unlocked a relay and say that, you know, he's available for trade. And basically what you have to do is you have to grind prime parts out and basically go to the kiosk that he normally hangs out next to and trade your prime parts in for ducats or ducats or whatever the hell they call them and stuff. So these mods are really good, and they actually like ramp them up a lot more, but they cost a lot. And here's the thing, this is the main reason why you want to forma, you know, your Warframes or your weapons, is because of your values and everything like that, and how much these mods will eat up. They'll take a lot of like your points. Your point values is your capacity, and that's what I'm pretty much talking about when I talk about points. Is I'm talking about the capacity values that you have. So What you want to try and do is when you mod or you forma a Warframe, is you want to try and find something that you're forming it for. You have to like think about your weapon strength, or you know, a certain build that you're looking for, and the main thing is you want to like try and play off of that. Now, when I forma my Warframe, I usually just stick with the 3 main polarities. And let me see here. Let me see if I can form a frame or like a weapon. So let's take the Soma. I'm going to go with this Soma, and this is a good weapon, and I'm liking the build so far. I might want to, I already have it formed for serration and everything, but I might want to form it for some of the other ones, like maybe point strikes. So I'll go ahead and do that. So what you do here is you basically go to polarize, and it'll ask if you want to apply a forma, and you say yes. And you go to any one of these slots here, and you're basically going to hit A to cycle through the formas. And these are the ones that you want to forma for, is any one of these. So like right here, I currently have point strike up in there. As you can see, like most of the heavy hitting ones and all that take like a V polarity. Some of the other ones like cryo rounds, like on the bottom, that's a D. Think about like what you want to do with it. Like right now I have it before. Let me just cancel this real quick so I can show you what I have it modded for. So on the stats on the left hand side, I have this one modded for viral. Let's see here. I have prime. I've already put, like, before I do that, let me go to the so I've already put 2 formas in it. I'm probably going to forma it again. In fact, let me do this in forma the Lex Prime again to basically get a little more power out of it. So right here, like I want to throw some more in there. So let's say that I want to mod for convulsion, and I'll go ahead and do that real quick. Basically, I had my Soma doing viral. If you looked at the stats on the side, I have my Lex Prime doing corrosive. And what that's for, so when I go into missions and everything, and your higher level targets, they usually carry more armor. Well, your corrosive will chew through that armor, and the viral then, of course, will put an effect on them, which is basically a type of a bleeding effect, which will help them, help you bring down them more, so you're able to actually take them down and stuff. And then I'm going to go over Valkyr in a second, because one of the guys, Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, I was trying to do one of his builds where he was using all of her augments and all that other stuff. And to be honest, there's a few things that, like I said, if you love this game and you love playing it, and and you're like me, where you get into these types of games like that and you want to know every aspect of it, then by all means, if I was you, I'd probably study like a lot of channels and stuff that can help you out and help you understand it more. Like I said, there's people that are far more experienced than me. I just kind of wanted to come across, because like Flynn, he does a good job, but the guy goes through like stuff a lot, really quick, and it's kind of confusing to me and stuff, so there's a few of them that I found that have been really helpful, and then there's a few that I just kind of was like, I like going to Noob Show Tech. That's another dude, but the only thing is the guy doesn't really talk and explain things. You're basically scrolling through script on the bottom and trying to read at the same time, catching up and see what he's trying to do. He does his screenshots like fast, so you really can't see like what he. Okay, so one of the things is you have to kind of understand your Warframe. This was a build like I was trying to make from Rob, A Gay Guy Plays and stuff like that. Like basically, when you get higher up in the syndicates, you get these augment mods for different Warframes, and what you do is basically this one had actually hysteria, but I took it out because it wasn't doing it for me. He had the rip line, paralysis, hysteria, and eternal war on there. And then he was running a corrosive projection and everything. So one of the things like I found out is some of these frames like Valkyr and Mesa will play off of the weapons. Like Valkyr here is basically a melee Warframe. She's really tanky, and her strength is getting in there and just basically like ripping shit up, like, you know, slicing and all this. So we'll take a look at her mod real quick, and I'll try on this because I understand I'm kind of flashing through this like really quick and all that, and take a look at what the augment does. Now you could take a look at different videos. You have like what's called an Eternal War build for Valkyr that a lot of people like playing off of, because this augment is really good. And you can see right there in the description like what it says. Basically, while active, Warcry's duration is increased 2 seconds with each melee kill. Now, one of the things, like I was talking before I lose track, is I was talking like about certain frames like Mesa and Valkyr. So to sit here and do a corrosive projection in this build, if I'm not running a corrosive on my melee weapon, then yes, I could see doing it to strip armor and everything like that. But one of the things is Valkyr's strength comes off of the melee weapon. I'll go back to this later. Didn't mean to take that out of there. So what I like to do is I like to go for the speed on Valkyr, and that's why I have like the Eternal War Cry. It can help your team out because they get the buff as well. And one of the things that happens in Eternal War Cry is her armor will increase as well as the damage and everything. And like I said, she plays off of the melee weapons. And right now I'm trying to look for my... Here we go. So basically what the build on this is something that I just came up with. I went for corrosive. Now, the reason why I usually use this when I'm running Valkyr is I want the speed. Damn it, I did it again. I keep trying to hit B and I keep accidentally like taking my mods out. But I apologize for that because I'm trying to do two things at once. I can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Sorry. I'm one of those folks. But anyways... So like this one, like the war, I have my war like modded up and everything for like real high corrosive damage. The only thing is you have to mod this for the speed, which is why I do Fury and all that other stuff in there. So basically, like formatting your weapons and your Warframes does like a couple things for you. First, it will help you get more powerful and be able to take that favorite weapon of yours and make it great again, you know, and be able to basically help you rank up in mastery rank. Because you go and you look at somebody's mastery rank, that means they put a lot of time into upgrading and, you know, upgrading their weapons, their frames and everything, and that's the way that I've seen it increase. So I just passed my Mastery Rank 12 test. As I upgrade more Warframes and weapons and everything, then you'll see the bar like slowly move over and everything, and then you're able to take your Mastery Rank test and move on to the next one. So it'll help you doing that, and it'll also help you for the higher levels. And there's plenty of the builds that you can take a look at on YouTube from a lot of the guys that have been playing this game for a while, and they have some really good builds. Life of Real has like great builds because he's always going towards end game content. If you take a look at a lot of his builds, he's usually on footage and everything of him running around in Mott, which is a kind of like a really high level exterminate or survival mission, and it's a pain in the ass actually. I've had to run Mott like a couple times. I don't like it. He's able to do it solo, and he's able to do, you know, show off his builds and his frames as far as like, you know, getting them to that end game and what he's going for and what he's building for it. So that's the thing, is just keep it in mind. Keep in mind like what you want to build for, and kind of understand like your frame and your weapon strengths and what's going to make it shine a lot more. But that's pretty much all I have. So this is the Valkyr 10 Gen skin. I didn't care too much for the Edgelord helmet, so I left the cheetah helmet on and stuff like that. But anyways, I hope that helps you out like a little bit and explains things a little bit. It's probably a good idea to like at least forming yourself up, because Plains of Eidolon is not that bad during the day, but some of the missions, like the higher level bounties and everything, sometimes happen during night, and nights when things get kind of crazy. And if you're not able to, pop your operator out of your frame and take care of a couple of those sentients and stuff like that, then it'll make it a little more difficult and stuff. So if you are new and you are out there and you haven't done the War Within or the Second Dream quests, you haven't completed those 2 quests, when you're out there at night, if I was you, just steer clear of the Eidolon, not unless there's like a whole bunch of people out there that, are basically taking it down and stuff, and you can kind of get in there and do something. But I don't recommend it. Like I said, I would gear more towards finishing the star chart and completing those quests. But I'm having a good time with this game, and this game is pretty much doing it for me. Like I said, once I get in these games, I like kind of, learning every aspect about it, and it's been really, really enjoyable. Especially like after the War Within quest, a lot of stuff opened up for me. So anyways, this Dog Meat, I'm out, and I hope this helps you out.